am so glad this was brought up.
Oh, here it goes.
That one does give me an ick. But the UK knows how to pronounce that word. Americans do not.
That's right.
Welcome back to Love and Junk Food. I'm Laura.
I'm John.
And today we're doing a reaction
video.
So BuzzFeed, they're always
I've heard about them.
talking about stuff. And we have an interesting little article that we're going to have John facilitate for us. And we're all going to be talking about food words and phrases and see if we use them, see how we feel about them, react to what they are. So,
that's right.
You ready? So this article is
27 overused cooking buzzwords that people can't stand.
Let's all pause.
Okay.
For a second. 27 overused cooking words and phrases.
Yeah.
How many of those do you think we use? And not just us combined.
I mean, if they're considered to be like annoying by a lot of people, then probably every single one of them.
I would say...
Or none of all.
We'll see if we're right here. I'm going to say 22.
You're going to say 22? I'm going to say 10.
Okay. And I can tell you, I looked at like the first 2 or 3 to see the vibe of the article and if I thought it would be fun and interesting. And then I haven't read the rest. So genuine reactions from
All right.
us. So for each of these, there's going to be a little comment by whoever submitted. So we'll read the comment.
All right. Number 1. I think hack is the worst offender to me. Most of them are just good techniques or not really even worth doing in the first place.
Well, my reaction is we do use that expression. Probably me more so than you.
Yeah, I mean, I don't use it a whole lot. I do think it's overplayed, not just in food, but everywhere. If anybody has a great idea, it's a hack. But, a lot of that comes across in like social media and like YouTube and stuff like that because it is a trending word. So, people use it.
Well, I think we are in the age of everything social media and TikTok in particular. And in the age of social media, if you're on social media, then you're limited by characters, etc. And you want to use trending, popular words and keywords and phrases. And so sometimes some of you will say, I wonder why they called it this, or you'll actually say that in our comments. Well, it's because we use a title generator, so sometimes we're influenced by what's more popular on the internet. So right now, I think a lot of people use the word like hack because it's much shorter and more popular than technique or whatever.
No, I'm going to go off on a tangent here a little bit.
No.
Laura is selling herself short because she's the one that comes up with our titles, but she has a place to check them to see what, like certain criteria, how they stand and everything, and some titles are better than others, but she doesn't use a program to generate the titles. She comes up with them from her head.
And then I check it. I mean, I just feel like we've been doing it long enough that I'm like, okay, well, I can't compete for this, Mr. Beast and the like has done this video. And so what's a play on that maybe we can get some views on? So anyway, I say...
As far as like people using the word hack, I mean, it doesn't bother me whatsoever. I just think it's overplayed.
Agree. I use it. It doesn't bother me. It is overused. But I understand. It's a 4-letter word.
Number 2, calling food crack. I can't stand that trend. I honestly used to think crack pie was called that because it was supposed to have a lot of cracks or something. When I found out it was some bakery that decided that their cake was as good as crack, I was like, seriously? I don't think I've had crack pie since.
Agree-ish.
Yeah.
here's what I'll say. I do use that expression, but I don't think I could be wrong. I don't think when we make up a little recipe or whatever that we call it crack something,
Right.
unless I found the recipe online.
And that's the title of the recipe. That's yeah.
Right. However, there have been times where we've been eating a snack that I've said, "Oh, this is like crack." I've used it in that way.
I guess I kind of dislike people using that as like, words of, description for their food, because it's just, it is a drug that people are addicted to. And, I deal with that a lot in my job. So, I don't know. It doesn't offend me at all. If people say it, they say it. It doesn't bother me whatsoever. But it just leaves a bad taste in my mouth a little bit when people use it.
In that way, yeah.
Yeah.
I can say I agree with you, and I would say it's not a term that I use a lot. But also sugar is very much a drug.
Oh, for sure.
But nothing compared to actual, we should probably be careful how many times we say that word in this video too.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on.
Describing foods as having more bite. Like, what is that? When I was bartending at a beer bar? Who says beer bar?
I don't know.
People would ask for a smooth beer that had a good bite. I would blind taste test them on Bud Light, and then they would say they liked it. $8 next in line. No, that doesn't offend me at all.
That's a real word. We use it. I know what it means. We use that word in a couple of different ways. Like, we do mean like that was a good bite of pizza, meaning it had all the junk in one bite, right? That was a really good bite. Or we might say that has a lot of bite, meaning like tang or heat or that's really bitey. Beer is something that I can see there being a bite to. We say that in cheese a lot too,
right?
Especially if there's like horseradish or something mixed in. So
that one doesn't bother me whatsoever.
Me at all, and we both use it.
Yeah, yes, for sure. Number 4, classifying certain recipes as elevated. It's not just pretentious, it's somewhat offensive. Oh, your classic dish everybody loves is just too trite and basic, so I, the master chef, have elevated it with my own ideas. Now it is elevated so us true gourmands can enjoy it.
I don't think that's a word that we use. Unless, like I say, we look up a recipe and it's called that.
Yeah, but we do see it like on certain shows, like on the Food Network or whatever, where they're like, you must take this meatloaf and elevate it.
Yeah, we for sure see it in the food world, but I don't think we use it.
No.
But it also doesn't bother me.
And I'm not really sure that I know anybody that like uses that. Like when you're talking of, I'm going to serve you my elevated meatloaf. Nobody talks that way except in Food Network or whatever. So. Number 5, using tendies for chicken tenders makes me want to punch whoever says it.
So I'm going to be as respectful as I can be because I love our subscribers and some of them could use that. I have never heard that before.
I have never either.
Also, ick. It kind of made me feel a little like, I don't know. There's certain words that you just don't like and you don't know why. I don't think I like that word. It makes me think of like tentacles or something. Tendies for chicken tenders. No, I've never heard it before. I don't like it. I don't use it.
It just makes me think of something like, I don't know, like a 14-year-old boy would say or something like that.
Yeah.
Give my tendies.
Yeah.
I've never heard anybody say that before in my life.
It would be okay if like a toddler said it.
Yeah, sure.
But I've never heard an adult use that expression.
No.
Ever. Have you? Let us know.
All right, number 6. The cutesy term for sandwiches causes me such revulsion that I cannot and will not type it, but y'all know, disgusting, foul, and abject. And then somebody said, you mean Sammy's? That must be it. Sammy's. I don't mind that.
I don't mind that. That's an expression that we do use, but I wouldn't say a lot. And usually when I use it is in a hashtag because it's popular on the internet.
Sure.
But do I ever say, let's go get Sammy's? No.
I don't say that either. I've probably said, like, where's my sandwich or something like that, but I don't think I ever say Sammy's.
Yeah. It doesn't bother me, and it's not really a word that I use unless, like I said, I'm trying to do a keyword or hashtag or whatever.
Number 7, bone broth. It's stock, plain and simple. It's stock. If it's made from bones, it's stock. Broth is made from just meat. Okay, I understand that. However, I do think that there are companies that use other methods of getting broth as opposed, or stock, as opposed to getting it specifically just from
bones and not meat and bones.
Right.
Or flavoring in bones.
Yeah. Right.
For me, it conjures up like a more natural idea and more expensive. Do we ever say the word? No, unless we are in a recipe that says that we need to use it or whatever. I just don't.
I mean, I understand, and I also thought, before, like, oh, they're just putting like we do with our titles and different things, we're using those hashtags or those popular words, and it's the same thing with companies too. Bone broth became popular, and now all these companies are putting bone broth on their labels. But that could be true. That she's right. That
yeah, I don't know. And obviously, if you know the difference, we're not going to take the time to look it up. But if you know if there's a difference or you want to chime in, we would love for you to.
Yes. Number 8, marry me chicken and better than sex cake, chicken or casseroles. It's usually not better than sex.
Agree. I don't use those expressions unless I don't know that I've ever had marry me chicken. I
don't think I've heard that before.
I have heard it, but I've never had it. I've definitely heard of better than sex cake.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like being offended. Better than sex cake is a particular recipe. That's what it's called. That's who the originator, like that's what they named it. So if I'm making that cake, that's what I'm going to call it. But it doesn't bother me.
Yeah, it doesn't bother me either.
But we don't say, let's forget that we're talking about those recipes. We don't say, oh, these cookies are better than sex, or this makes me want to marry somebody.
Right.
No.
Here's the thing. I do think that either one particular person or a restaurant came up with better than sex cake, and they named it that because they could get people's attention,
And it worked.
And it worked, and it worked so well that people use it for all kinds of other things.
That's right.
Next, crostini. They're just little toasts. You're just a bougie home cook from Des Moines, not Tuscany, and as you'd like to pretend. That's funny.
Well, we are from Iowa, and Des Moines is in Iowa.
Yeah, Des Moines actually has a very popular or very good food scene.
Yeah. I think do we use crostini? I mean, I don't think I would never. I have never said, when you're at the store, can you pick up crostini? I'm more likely to say, hey, we're going to have this dish, and I think it'd be good with a nice, like, crunchy bread or something.
Yeah.
Like, but if I'm reading crostini on a menu, I don't go, ugh, crostini.
I think that, yes, crostini is toast, but not all toast is crostini. So you can't just say it's just toast. I mean, I think that there's a different shape, type of bread, particular toast on it, the way that, it's prepared and what's put on top of it.
I think of like a baguette.
Yeah.
Right? That shape, that size.
Yeah.
Toasted.
Yeah.
And hard.
Yeah.
That's what I think of. Which, when I think of toast, it's a slice of regular bread that's like this. That's not crostini.
Yeah.
So I disagree.
I do too. Crostini doesn't bother me, but the person that said that does.
Okay.
Number 10, deconstructed. My mother-in-law once served deconstructed apple crumble for dessert. It was toasted oats, raw apples, berries, Greek yogurt, and cinnamon sugar. Essentially, she fed us granola for dessert.
I don't mind deconstructed. I definitely think I don't think we really use that, but I don't mind the term. I know what it means. Do we ever make deconstructed anything? I mean, I can't think that we do.
I don't know. We might have tried a video once, like a couple of years ago or something, but I don't know. We don't use
but
it.
if we did use that,
Yeah.
we meant it. Like we were deconstructing a
Right.
whatever it was and turning it into, I don't know.
We do watch like Food Network shows and different stuff like that. And when we hear somebody, well, let me speak for myself. When I hear somebody say deconstructed or try to make a deconstructed meal on a competition, it makes me feel like the person doesn't know anything better to do with the ingredients they were given. And they were just like, how can I make this different? I'm going to make it deconstructed.
Well, I can challenge that and say we've watched a lot of food channels going back to the word elevated, and let's say they have chicken pot pie.
Yeah.
And now they have to elevate that dish.
Right.
Maybe that it would be deconstructed. That's when I could see, like, but I only see it applying really to like food shows.
Yeah.
I don't know. Tell me if you have an experience with that. I'm not opposed to it. I just can't think of a time where we have made a deconstructed anything. We've seen it in plenty of TV though.
The thing is though, if you are making a deconstructed meal or dish, it better be just as good or better than like the original. Otherwise, what's the point?
Well, and if we were deconstructing chicken pot pie, it'd be like pastry and, seasoned chicken and celery and, whatever. We would probably call it something, if we were making it, we would probably call it something other than deconstructed whatever.
Some sort of pastry crisp.
Yeah.
You can dip it in whatever.
Yeah. So it doesn't bother me. I think it means like there's a time and a place to use it, but we just don't usually use it. Okay?
Number 11, I say mouthfeel exclusively to be creepy. If you pronounce it just right, everyone around you will gag a little bit.
Well, that's probably true, and I agree with that, especially on who's saying it. But do we use mouthfeel all the time?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, you have to use descriptive words. We have a food channel. You can't just say good, bad. You have to describe things.
How else do you... that's another one of those things. I don't know what else you could use in place of mouth feel. It's how something comes together in your mouth when you're eating it.
Right.
Like the texture, the flavor, the everything combined. Like how much liquid is in it or how dry it is or, all of those things.
Yeah.
Is what mouthfeel boils down to. I can't think of another expression to substitute. So do we use it? Yes. Does it bother us? No.
No. Number 13, shatteringly crisp.
What?
Shatteringly crisp.
Shatteringly.
Yeah, shatteringly. Not William Shatteringly. It is shatteringly crisp. Is a food writing cliche that is way overused. It's just crispy, people. I don't know. I don't know that I've heard that phrase. I've heard crisp, and I've heard somebody use like not really shatteringly even.
I've not heard shatteringly crisp, but I've heard shattering like in a food show when you're talking about like sugar work.
Yeah.
And they talk about like things shattering, like how it...
Yeah, but that's an actual thing.
Yeah.
The way they're talking about it's like describing how crispy it is, but
No,
I've never
I know.
heard that.
I'm saying that's the only time I've heard it associated with food. So I don't think that... How can that be overused if we've never heard of it?
Never heard of it.
But the world's a big place and people say different things in different areas. So if you've heard of that, let us know. We don't use it. We've never heard of it.
You know what? That phrase offends me too.
No, it doesn't.
I've never heard it, but there it is. Number 14, using the word porn when describing really good versions of dishes like cheese porn or dessert porn. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So from now on, we're going to substitute that word with corn. Just because we've now...
You never know.
We've said sex, we've said crack. We're going to say corn.
It's a good thing YouTube doesn't know how to spell.
Yeah. It's the same thing. I would use it in a hashtag if it was like a trending hashtag. Like food corn is a very popular hashtag.
Yeah.
But do we say that in our lives? I don't think we say it in our videos. I don't think we use it in our lives.
No.
But if somebody uses it, it might hook me in. If somebody says this, food corn pizza or whatever, I might be like, I better look.
We do short videos and everything, and we've never used that in any of our stuff, I don't think.
Yeah. If you use that word, it's going to get flagged. That's number one. But also, I just don't know. I never use it.
15. When people seriously refer to pizza as za. Pizza already wasn't difficult to say in the first place. You don't get any cool points for making it one syllable.
I'm going to go back to what I said about another one, about tendies. That one does give me an ick. It does. But if you say it, that doesn't mean we can't be friends. But I do not say it, and I kind of feel the same way.
And, I don't know, evokes a certain image of the person that would say za.
Yes, we're not going to say what that image is.
Right. Number 17. Oops, I'm sorry. Number 16. Anytime people talk about the ingredients, getting to know each other.
I don't know that I use that specifically, but it sounds like an expression I would say, so I'm definitely not offended by it. But we do, when we're cooking, say, this is very similar, I'm sure. We're going to let this hang out.
Yeah.
Let everybody, hang out, and we'll be back or whatever. Yeah. So I think that's a cute expression. Doesn't bother me at all.
Yeah, I think that is totally acceptable. Number 17. Curds. Lemon curd is delicious, and I even want... Number 17. Curds. Lemon curd is delicious, and I even make it now and then. But I wish it had a better name that didn't want to make me gag.
Agree-ish. I mean, cheese curds, that's what they're called, and lemon curd, that's what it's called, but it's not a very sexy name.
Yeah, it doesn't sound very nice, but it is what it is, right?
Yeah, so are we offended? No. Do we use it? Yes.
Right. 18. Calling healthier foods clean. Foods aren't either dirty or clean, aside from the literal dirt on my vegetables, of course. Huh?
I disagree. I disagree with that completely. This is the first one I've really had, taken a hard stance about, I think.
Okay.
I do think, food is food, yes, but there's a lot of food, including a lot of the stuff that we try on this channel, so I'm not casting shade on someone else. I'm casting shade on the food industry. A lot of it is not much food, and it's filler, and it's other stuff. So I definitely, when you say clean, I think that means that it doesn't have a bunch of additives and preservatives and unnatural, artificial sweeteners and flavorings and whatever. I think that's okay to use that.
Right, and it seems like the commenter in this one said they're focusing on one literal definition of the word clean. There's other definitions out there, other meanings, so...
if you say you're eating clean, I feel like that's a very specific thing, right?
Right.
You're eating whole foods. That's what it means. That's what it means to me.
Sure, me too.
So, do we use that expression? Yes. Do we live that life? No. However, I think, as soon as they make, I don't know. Vegetables taste like Doritos. I'm all in.
Coming soon.
But we're getting there. We're going there.
We'll try it on our channel if we
We're
find
eating a
something.
lot healthier than we ever used to. But I'm not offended by it. It is an expression we use. I would like to eat cleaner. You know, it's a process. But I disagree with that statement.
Number 19. When chefs talk about the Maillard reaction, I swear every cooking video on the internet says it as if they're dropping some brand new knowledge on you. Okay? I don't know. My reaction to that is, I didn't know it was an issue.
Same. And we watch almost every food show. I don't know that that's overused. We don't use it, but I don't.
Yeah, I've heard it obviously, but not in overabundance, I would say.
Not nearly as much as all of the other things on the list.
Yeah, that's dumb. Number 20, veg. When did everyone decide that this is what we now call all vegetables?
I am so glad this was brought up.
Oh, here it goes.
Please, we're all friends here, right? We're
right,
friends.
right.
We're friends with you.
Yeah.
We get comments on that all the time. Let me tell you this. Let me tell you something. We have a very split audience between our American friends, that we love, and our British friends that we also love, and then a smaller percentage of people from other countries that we also very much love and appreciate.
Yes.
What we say in this country may be different than what you say in yours.
Country.
And it gets under my skin when somebody says, why do you say this or that? It's how you were raised, wherever you were raised, right? And so I understand that in the UK, veggie means a vegetarian, but that is not what it means here.
Yes.
And I also understand that some people don't like the word veg. Vegetable is a really freaking long word. That's all I have to say about that. And we love you all, and we accept and appreciate our differences. We do use it a lot.
That about sums it up. Here we go. 21. Toothsome. It makes me think I'm chewing on loose teeth. Come on.
I don't think that is an expression that we use. I know what it means, and it doesn't bother me, but I don't think that's an expression we use.
No, and it does seem, I don't know, a bit pretentious, but, we don't use it. But we've heard it on, shows. And again, you're, as a television show, you're catering to a big audience, and you got to put on a show. You can't just sit there, like we said earlier, about saying, oh, that was good, that was bad. That's it.
Toothsome comes to mind for me talking about cookies.
Yeah, sure.
Then I think it would be appropriate. And I think everybody knows what that means, right? It's pretty much crispy with a little bit of chew on the inside. I think that's the best way to describe it in a cookie. I don't know when else you would use that expression. I don't know if that I've even used it for a cookie, but when I hear that word, that's what I think of. So
yeah, I know what it means, but it's not my vocabulary. Number 22. Whenever I'm watching a cooking show, I've realized that they always do things off. They never fry the chicken, they fry it off.
Oh.
They don't boil the potatoes, they boil them off. It seems to mean absolutely nothing, but the industry has embraced it. Whatever cooking technique they do, they don't only do it, they do it off.
I would say that is an expression that is used frequently. I don't know that we use it. If anybody uses it, it would be you. And I could see you using it like, I'm going to bake off some bacon or fry off some chicken. For me, if we were to ever use it, it would have to do with meat. Yeah. I've never seen, I don't think we've ever used boil off potatoes, or it's got to be in reference to meat, I think. And still, that being said, I don't know that I've ever heard or seen either of us use it.
I mean, I can't deny ever using it, but I can't think of an occasion where I did or, but yeah, sure, why not? It doesn't really bother me at all. But,
Me neither.
But I have noticed that too, though. You do see that certain catchphrases and like words like that are just become trending, and you see it a lot.
Right.
And I have noticed that one.
Yeah.
Oh boy, here we go. Number 23. People intentionally mispronouncing, stumbling over, or using unoriginal phrases for Worcestershire sauce.
Worcestershire.
Like wash your sister sauce.
What?
And acting like they're so clever.
Listen. That's funny.
Oh, I definitely use that. Laura taught me that, though, so it's not my fault.
Hilarious. Wash your sister sauce. First of all, I never thought I invented that. I obviously heard it from somebody.
Somewhere. I heard it from her.
I heard it from my aunt that I loved to death. And I thought that was so cute that she said that because she had trouble pronouncing a lot of words. And that's a tough word, right?
Yeah, sure. You know, it doesn't bother me at all. Say it however you want. I think it's kind of funny.
But it is an American, it is an American thing. If you watch American food channels, right? I hope I'm not stepping on any toes or offending anybody. It's not just because we love the UK, but the UK knows how to pronounce that word. Americans do not.
That's right. Number 24. When people talk about the flavor profile of a dish, just say the flavor.
That doesn't bother me. I don't know that that's something that we use. But
no. But, I do see that as like a trend in restaurants or on shows again. Mm-hmm. But I've never known anybody to use that phrase in
regular life.
Regular speak.
Same.
Number 25. I can't stand entree. For a good reason. It means entry, and thus in French it's the appetizer, but to Americans it means the main dish. Go figure. Sounds a bit condescending.
Well, but to Americans it means the main dish, and then they said go figure. Americans, what other countries say? What's here? What some people say in other countries and some Americans say about Americans is that we are the land of excess. Big, huge portions. And we know that's true. It's not just something that somebody believes. You look at our soda size, that you can get from a fountain pop compared to other countries. We are bigger. We are, that is a thing. And I'm not bragging about that either. I'm just to be clear.
Right. It's just is.
That's interesting because if it means appetizer, you would think smaller. Mm-hmm. So do you understand what I'm saying? Does this make sense to anyone?
I think so. I think I understand.
We're just pronouncing it. We're just misusing it. That's what I mean. We're not mispronouncing it.
Yeah, and the thing is, I've never actually thought about it like that because it just, it is what it is. You grow up and you learn certain things. It's part of your background. And when you're a kid and you're looking at the menu for the first time or whatever, entree is where you get your main meal at. And I never really actually thought where'd that word come from? What does it actually mean or anything like that?
I don't know either. Somebody chime in if you know, but I have a feeling that there was a transplant into our country and they had a menu that maybe said entree for appetizers. Then some American ate at that restaurant, let's say, and then got it all mixed up when they went and did their menu. Something like that has to be the origin story. I will also say, nobody in our circle, nobody that I have ever in my years on the planet, I've never heard anybody say entree in outside of a restaurant.
Right.
It's only on menus, and
it's only on menus.
And your conversation between you and your food server at that time, right?
And your comment reminded me of like the better than sex thing. Like somebody came up with this idea, like, I'm gonna call this stuff an entree.
Yeah.
And then everybody else and it was a popular restaurant, and people were like copying them. That's just the way it happens.
Yeah, and copying probably what was a mistake. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Who knows the origin of that?
We're purely speculating here.
That's right. That's what we're not the news. We're entertainment. Obviously.
Number 26. I hate when people refer to meats as proteins. It feels so disconnected and disingenuous to me.
I disagree.
Yeah.
Kind of. I never say, like, if we're making a dish and I say, now it's time to add the protein, unless it's multiple. Then I use, like, if we're making fajitas and we have shrimp and chicken and beef, I might say, now it's time to add the protein. I think I would be more likely to say meat, but that if I were to use it, that's when I would use it.
And, we've probably used it in videos before, but like Laura was saying, like in a cooking video or something like that, but we typically just, we just say beef or chicken or whatever. We don't say the protein. But we have seen it, like you said, where there's a choice. If you go to a restaurant like Chipotle or something.
Yeah, you're having tacos. What's your protein?
What's your protein? You get to pick it. So, yeah, I'm fine with it.
Me too.
And finally, number 27. Not really a cooking term, but the word foodie is just ridiculous. Doesn't bother me. It is overplayed a little bit, but...
It is overplayed, I agree, but I'm not offended by it. Like, foodie conjures up something in how I think. If somebody says, I'm a foodie, to me, that means food is one of their hobbies.
Yeah.
Instead of just, I eat dinner every night. Do you know what I mean?
Right. Like, or I like food,
Yeah. I think it means that it doesn't necessarily have to mean even that you cook. It just means that you enjoy food. Trying food is your passion, your pleasure. That's what it means to me.
Yeah. And like the hobby part of it for people are like, tasting it and, what do they say? Salt, fat, acid, sweet or something. Maybe, you're supposed to balance all that stuff. And that's like food critics. They don't just go in and eat stuff and say, ooh, that's good. They break it down like that.
Well, and to be a food critic, you have to be able to take your preferences and put them aside and be able to say,
And so I always kind of considered like a foodie to be more of like an amateur food critic type person. You enjoy food, you like varieties, you like something done well.
Sure. What does it mean?
I don't know, maybe.
Do we use it? Yes. Do you think we're foodies?
I don't know. I think kind of, but I also feel like...
Say yes.
Yes.
We have a food channel, right? Food is our hobby. Yes.
Fair enough.
But it depends on what you think the word means.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, foodie sounds very fancy, which we're not.
Well, I'm not.
I think overall, I would say we use probably about half of those in some form or fashion. Like, we never say food corn, but we do use it in hashtags, like especially on TikTok or Instagram. We might use it that way. So I'm curious how many of those expressions you are offended by or how many you use. Let us know in the comments. This was fun.
It was fun.
BuzzFeed always has a ton of interesting videos and articles. There's a ton. And it's definitely not all
food.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. I was like, wait, what are we talking about? Oh yeah, food. Come to the comments and let us know what you feel about this video and about these words, and if you can think of others. I had thought of another one before we started this, and now it escapes me. So if I think of that, I will put mine in the comments. Do you know of one for you?
I really, growing up, I found the word beer distasteful.
Beer?
Yeah. It just sounded juvenile. I don't know. It
Really?
Yeah, I don't know. And then, obviously, once it became drinking age, I was like...
You changed your mind.
right out the door, never worried about it again.
Yeah. So anyway, let us know yours. And while you're in the comments, there will be a place where you can subscribe to our channel along with our other channels where we do other things, our socials. We'll pin some of our other playlists there as well. Now, if you love playing games or BuzzFeed or food or foodies
Or food porn.
or us
Or
on
the
the video, give this video a big thumbs up. It really helps our channel grow when you do that. That's all we have for today.
That's it, guys.
See you next time.
Bye.